So this is a pretty big mistake that a lot of players in Raid tend to make. I've made it and you might be making it, so let's talk about it.
Shoot him, Kevin!
Hello everybody, I'm Roadblock and this is a Raid Shadow Legends video. So I wanted to talk today about Go Second Team. This is something that I thought I had figured out and that I had kind of conquered many months ago. And it was kind of my main arena team for a very long time. So first I'm going to show you what not to do and show you that I did it. I still kind of do it, like I still have the team built and I haven't really adjusted it. So this used to be my team. I would use UDK in the lead. This is the team as I would run it. Let me talk about it a little bit because you're probably going to say, oh, that doesn't make a lot of sense. UDK and Mortu Macabre don't work very well together. And there is a bit of a problem with that, but most damage dealers in Arena are doing AoE damage anyways. So the UDK was just there to maybe take a little bit of the single target pressure off of Mortu Macabre to allow him to get an opportunity to cycle through to Peril. But let's take a look at them and we'll talk about it. Listen up, I just got a new promo link that you can use to follow along with me on my latest free-to-play adventure and get a free Elenaril as well as 3 more powerful epics as you level up. Here's how to do it. Log out of Plarium and Play and uninstall. Click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Launch Raid and complete the tutorial. Go to your inbox and claim your first champ. Don't miss out on your chance to get Elenaril right after signing up, as well as Fayne, Uugo, and Tagoar as you progress through Raid. Click on my link right now and let's crush this together. Harima has since been rebuilt to be good, but Harima was also there to reduce the ignore defense mechanic because of her passive. So she was in there to reduce enemy ignore defense effects so that I would have a better chance of surviving to the next turn. Just to give you a breakdown of kind of what the team is about, but really I'm going to show you what not to do now, okay? Harima's been rebuilt. She's built pretty well now. I'd love to have her in stone skin, but I don't quite have the accessories, and like we were trying to rebuild this on stream and it didn't work. So, all right, let's take a look at Mortu Macabre. You can actually see some of the gear is off Mortu Macabre, like I've taken off his crit damage gloves, but the idea behind this was just a 6-piece stone skin build, 7-piece for the extra HP, and the idea is to just be very tanky, right, in stone skin, so that I can proc Peril. So if you guys don't understand how Mortu Macabre works, he has a 20% chance to unlock a secret skill, Peril, for 1 turn when attacked. Also has a 20% chance to fill this champion's turn meter by 25%. So if Peril gets activated, this hits really hard. If you've ever done campaign and you've gone up against Mortu and he one-shots your champion, it's because you procced Peril and he hit you with it, okay? The idea is sound, right? Build him in stone skin, make him slower than everybody else so they keep hitting his stone skin and giving him more chances to proc. That was the idea behind this build. Let's look at his total speed though, a 104, okay? Again, this is what not to do, and I want to try and make that very clear for you guys. Ultimate Death Knight, also 7-piece stone skin, and incredibly slow, 97 speed, using defense on the boots, defense, HP on the chest, defense on the, like, just making him as slow as possible. And then I think my Python is a little bit better, but he's in a stone skin build. I need to rebuild him, to be honest, but he was 256 speed, a little bit better. Kind of slow for a support, gotta be honest with you, but he was in a better position. And why Python was in the team, mostly just to cleanse off anything that might go through the stone skin, like burns, bombs maybe, but built him for some speed because he was also a support on my account. I haven't really used him a lot recently, and I could probably rebuild him in something better like protection gear for other areas of the game. Now, why am I going to say that this is a problem? Because the speeds are so slow, and it's one of the biggest traps that a lot of players, including myself, can fall into when you're talking about a Go Second team. Because like for me, it was like, well, they can't kill me because I'm in stone skin, so I'll just go second and I'll just be super slow so that I don't accidentally go first. But really, in reality, that's not what you're looking to do in 2025. Now, this team did work. I had a lot of success with this team, and I've actually used this team with some success, even in things like Siege, where it was like, you know what? They don't have a buff strip. I can probably get away with my Stone Skin team because they don't hit, particularly hard. So every now and then I will bust this team out and use it in certain areas of the game. But overall, the big problem is that when you are this slow and you're going up against 350, 400 speed, you're talking about players that are getting multiple turns before you get one. All the Stone Skin in the world isn't going to protect you from multiple opportunities to strip your buffs, multiple opportunities to do damage to the Stone Skin shield itself, and will eventually whittle their way through your team. So I wanted to show you a little bit better use of Stone Skin on the account. Now, this He-Man is in a 4-piece Stone Skin. He is particularly slow. I'm not a big fan of where his speed is currently at, but it's not on purpose. It's more to do with just the gear that I have available for him at the moment. I think I built this in the optimizer, but I'm still trying to get some speed out of him. I'm not going with just his base speed, right? We are still running speed on the boots, but to be completely honest, I don't get a lot of use out of He-Man. I get more use out of one of my better champions on the account, which is Mezimel. Mezimel and He-Man have a lot of similarities. He-Man has a single target attack that will ignore Stone Skin. Mezimel has a single target attack that will ignore Stone Skin. She can self-buff, ignore Stone Skin, but then when that's all on cooldown, she can transform into her second form, and we can get AoE hits that go through unkillable and block damage, right? Mezimel proven to be very, very effective to me. And if you got a sneak peek at her gear, you can see that we have her in a 4-piece Stone Skin. Now, I want to be clear, I have not built this champion specifically as a go second champion, but I take it into consideration when I'm picking my team. And we will talk about that in a little bit. So for Mezimel, her speed is 207. This is pretty slow, but I can kind of get away with a little bit slower speed by using Stone Skin, right? But not to the point where I am in like way too slow. Now, is this going to be fast enough to keep up with 400 speed champions? No, I'm not at that level, and I want to emphasize that. The way that I have her built is more of a precaution, right? If I lose the speed battle, I don't necessarily lose the fight, and that's where Stone Skin's really coming in handy for me and helping me to kind of get into that position, right? Now, is there a scenario where would I want 5-piece Stone Skin? Probably not. Would I want full Stone Skin on her? Would I want to go 6-piece Stone Skin on Mezimel? No. 1 piece is really what I'm looking for, so I can get some more ignore defense into her kit and get more damage that way. Some champions can get away with it with a 2-stack of Stone Skin, but I'm very happy with my 4-piece Stone Skin here. And I have another champion who does the same thing. So my Commodus is 283 speed, so quite a bit faster, but also in Stone Skin and Pinpoint too. And again, this is my level. I am not at the level of some of the really, the other content creators that are deep in top tier gold and all that stuff. And what I'm going to show you today is going to be silver live arena. I want to be clear about that as well. So take everything I'm saying with a major grain of salt. But the thing that I really want to emphasize is that you still want to have speed on your potentially go second champions. And I also want to emphasize go second doesn't mean that everybody has to be a go second champion. So I'm going to show you some examples here in live arena. Live arena is one of the trickier things to film when it comes to getting the champions that I want to matter to go through, but I'm mostly going to pick the same amount of champions here. We'll do a little bit of counter picking maybe, but I do want to try and get the Commodus and the Mezimel, one or the other, into the mix. And we'll kind of talk about my strategy as we go. Pretty standard opener for my level. You pick Armands, and I'm going to pick my Arbiter. My Arbiter, I think, is 360 speed, I want to say, maybe. I think my fastest champion on the account right now is 370, so she's not anything too crazy. But we pick Arbiter, and Mezimel is pretty much in every single one of my team because she can kind of counter so much with her different options and her build. Now let's see what kind of damage that they go with. Okay, cool. So I am looking to win the speed battle, but there is a chance that this is a sneaky, fast Estrid, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go with my Stone Skin option again, right? I'm going to put my Harima in here. She's just a really good counter here. Again, I want her in a 4-piece Stone Skin, but we're not there yet with my gear. Just with the way that her gear is and her particular set and accessories and all that. Okay, cool. So the Fabian is a little bit scary, but I want to win the speed battle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ban the Arbiter here. Probably better to ban the Fabian, but I might be able, it might give me an opportunity to prove my point. So they ban the Commodus, which kind of doesn't help me show you, but there's a chance that they might win this speed battle, okay? And if they can win the speed battle, you guys can get an opportunity to see what I'm talking about. They came close. You can see that how full her speed meter is. She is very, very close to the speed of my Arbiter. So they were very, very close to outspeeding me. I'm going to take some turn meter here. And then, oh, she's about to take a turn. I don't want her to get an opportunity to do anything. So we can go ahead and polymorph her there. Okay, so I'm kind of filming this on the fly, right? We won that battle. Like, it was pretty obvious, right? We won the speed battle. That's I have a pretty good team. I really want to emphasize how Stone Skin in these situations can really steal. But it's, like I said, it's very hard to record in live arena. So what I'm going to do now, I've kind of talked you through the basis of picking those players, right? And looking to use the Stone Skin in case I lose the speed battle. And we're going to emphasize that, and we're going to try and see, because my picks are pretty much going to be the same for the next couple of fights. So once I get an opportunity, I will unpause and we'll go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so we might have an opportunity here. I banned their Arbiter, they banned mine. So I've got my two Stone Skin champions coming through. I'm willing to bet this He-Man is in Stone Skin as well. So let's see what happens and see if they can win the speed battle here. All right, so they win the speed battle, and this is where that Stone Skin kind of comes in handy, because she needs to buff strip both of them. And they went for the stun instead. Boom. Stone Skin just won me this fight. She went for the stun. I now get a turn. Obviously, Commodus is really good, right? And Commodus is not afraid of Stone Skin if they had it on their team as well. But because I was in Stone Skin, what they should have done was go for the buff strip to remove that Stone Skin. Still a chance that I would have got the turn with Commodus, depending on the speeds of everybody else on that team. But I lost the speed battle. I'm trying to go first. I still lost the speed battle, but I was able to get by with my Stone Skin and not have my whole team get stunned. And I think it's very important to understand that, because I made, as I clearly showed you, I made that mistake for a very, very long time, where I thought Go Second teams had to be infinitely slow, and I don't think that's necessary. Now, one of the other Go Second teams that I really want to shout out to is going to be the Cardinal team. So if you haven't yet found this team in Arena, it can be difficult to deal with, because Cardinal revives allies, heals them to 25% of their max HP, and boosts their turn meter to max. This is not an extra turn though, so you do still need to have speed on those other champions, but the idea is that you kill the whole team, Cardinal revives them, they have a full turn meter, and they get to take a turn. It doesn't always work that way. They build them wrong, you have the potential to cut in, but I wanted to emphasize this is a pretty easy Go Second team to make. You can build Cardinal with really high resistance, really big shield from the Stone Skin. You'll probably run into that team every now and then. I run into it quite a few times. It can be frustrating to deal with, for sure. Cardinal can be frustrating to deal with. I've even seen some really high level players just outright ban her and be like, I just don't want to deal with it. We'll go around it, right? But it's a good opportunity. And I think that this is a really good use of Stone Skin. And I think a lot of players still struggle with it. In fact, that guy that I just beat didn't have any. It wouldn't have mattered because I had Commodus whose bombs go through Stone Skin, but having Stone Skin on your champions can really help you out. Now, maybe it's not viable for everybody. Maybe there are certain champions that you really don't want it on, but for me, especially when it comes to kind of my mythical champions who tend to have better base speeds in general, you can kind of get away with a little bit of extra Stone Skin over some other champions that might be a little bit slower in the base speed. Like Rhodos 90 speed. You're going to have a harder time getting speeds on him, but he is a pretty decent candidate, I'd say, for some stone skin. But he kind of also has it built in his kit, so that's why I tend not to worry about it with him. But yeah, I hope this kind of helps you guys. Remember, guys, I know people are going to come at me in the comments. This video might not be for you. There are a lot of players in my own clan, players in my chat, players in my Discord who are constantly talking about, you know, how to build nukers. And I'm not saying to go out there and nerf your nuker and make them unusable because you're prioritizing stone skin. That's viable somewhat, and I'm sure Vodka is going to be in the comments telling you that he runs an attack ring that is stone skin on his Harima. Now, I'm not comfortable doing that. I prefer, and I'm getting away with it just fine. She's one of my better champions. But eventually I may have to do that. I may have to run lesser stats than what I am running just to keep that stone skin on her. But in the case of Mezimel, I got lucky. I have an attack ring. I have a crit damage neck. I have an attack amulet. But it is a 5-star, right? Like, I don't know that I would really want a 5-star amulet. It's really only being picked because it happens to be stone skin and it also happened to have a speed roll on it. Here's another 5-star one. So I would love to get 6-piece out there. The other argument too, kind of against this, is that you might get better results from reaction gear. I've heard that argument. In fact, when I had Drak on the channel not that long ago, Drak highly recommended that for Harima, that I try to get reaction gear on her. The problem, at least for me, is that my clan tends to lose non-PR clan v clans. And when that happens, you don't get a lot of reaction gear when you're on the losing side of non-PR clan v clan. Reaction gear is a lot harder for me to get than stone skin, which I get a chance every single week to get some accessories and to get some new pieces to potentially have a chest that can replace Harima's chest piece, right? Or other pieces as I go to continue to build out my champions. So anyways, I feel like I've beaten this point in, and I just wanted to talk about it. Wanted to give you guys that tip. It will really help. You know, you'll notice all these champions, obviously it's a lot easier on Combatist because I don't need lethal, savage, I don't need ignore defense, right? But for Mezimel and He-Man, right? Like, I've got lethal in there. It's a little bit easier with lethal because I don't need as much crit rate, but you could definitely get in there with savage as well. And so I highly recommend that you guys consider maybe trying to work some stone skin, at least a 4-piece, into the builds for your nukers. Don't make them unusable. Don't take them down to like 3-4k attack. You know, if you can still keep their stats somewhat high, also in a little bit of stone skin, it can go a long way to stealing a victory. Now, that was one example, but it happens all of the time. If you want to see it happen multiple times, you can check out the VOD from my stream on Sunday night where I did a lot of live arena, and you can see a lot of times where players just didn't do they couldn't stop the stone skin, and then I just got a turn. Even though they outsped me, I still got a turn. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, and as always, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.